Good evening. I want to welcome you all to the Peabody Conservation Commission public meeting. Today is Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, tonight's public hearing being held by means of a Zoom webinar so that we can stay safe and maintain the requirements set by Governor Baker. I'm going to read I'll read Governor Baker's order suspending certain rules regarding public meetings. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Laws 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Peabody Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort we made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so on matters not requiring a public hearing, we will post on the city's PBD's website and audio and video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive recordings as soon as possible after the meeting. I'll begin the agenda. I just want to let you know that it's hard with not seeing all the folks who may be in attendance. So we will bring the first project up. We'll ask them to make their presentation. The commissioners will ask questions or make comments. When we are finished with our questions or comments, we will open it to the public. Our first item on the agenda is a request for determination of applicability. It's a continued public hearing on a request for determination of applicability submitted by BL Companies, Suzanne King, for LCI Management, care of Eric Liasano. The proposed project consists of a building addition, modifications to the parking area, stormwater changes, and increase in impervious areas. Property is known as 151 Andover Street, map 52, lot 17 in the city of Peabody. You can come make your presentation.
Yeah, I'm just trying to unmute them right now. It's
Okay.
taking.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Did we get Susan?
I think I'm unmuted as well.
Yep.
So Jack, I'll let you start if you want.
I was just by way of background. We've been to the Zoning Board of Appeals. We've completed that. We are completed at the City Council, but for they await your decision, and then they will close their hearings. And Susan King has responded to memorandums provided by Community Development Department and by Lucia, and I believe that Suzanne would now bring us up to date with those changes.
Okay. So I am Suze King from BL Companies. I am the civil engineer, project manager for the project. And so we first met back in March, I believe, to present the site to you. The issue at that time was because we had just had a meeting, actually I believe with City Council, they had requested some changes to the site. And so I had tried to, so I incorporated them into the site so that you guys would see the latest and greatest. But there was, obviously what you guys had previously been given and what you had that night in front of you did not match. So what you asked us to do is once we had the final plan, to come back and present to you guys again. So we now have approvals from the other boards, or conditional, I guess, approvals from the other boards. And so now we have our final design, pending comments from you. And so Lucia, if you can bring up, I think probably the grading plan, GD-1. So it's sheet 8 of 20 would be the best sheet. So a couple more. And so this property is 151 Andover Street. It's the old Borders bookstore across from the mall there. And so there is the off-ramp for 128 off to the south there. And there's a, between the off-ramp and the site, there's a drainage ditch, a concrete drainage ditch for the highway drainage area there. And then just off the eastern corner, up in the upper right-hand corner, there is a wetland that's off-site. However, the buffer area comes onto into the corner of our site. And then the 200-foot drainage ditch buffer is also along that page right side of our site. So what we, in general, what we're doing with the project is the existing building is going to remain. And there's going to be an addition that comes off the building. It's going to maintain that roof line. But the page, the bottom of the page is going to, where you enter in the bottom, like let's say left-hand corner is the office area. That is going to be 1 story above the back area. So page north on the page. And so what's happening is the driveway, we're going to shift from the middle where it currently is to an existing curb cut closer to Loris Road. And then the driveway is going to slope down to the back. We're going to replace all of the pavement area with, you know, this building footprint, and then a smaller associated parking area, because the requirements for a storage facility are a lot less than what a bookstore would require. So because we are modifying you know, the site with the grading and making it so that we can have the driveway that goes around to the back of the building there and have everything go around the building, we are replacing the existing drainage system up to, and Lucia, this might be a little bit difficult, but the last manhole on the developed portion of the site is above the infiltration center. If you can maybe zoom in a little bit, it's MH-4. So that structure is going to be replaced. And then north of that, there's an existing pipe that goes to an outfall that then you can see the line with the little arrows that is a conveyance swale out to the drainage ditch, which then hits the wetland. And so on site, we are replacing shallow catch basins that are filled with sediment right now. And so we're putting in deep sump catch basins with the hoods. They're all offline. And then the planning board has requested that we infiltrate the have the roof water go through the infiltration system. And so that's why there's that the infiltration chamber is shown right there. We are decreasing the overall impervious area of the site. However, they wanted us to infiltrate the roof water prior to discharging it to improve the water quality, leaving the site a little bit more. And so as far as improvements that are within the wetland buffer, it is just the erosion control measures. The fiber logs, the coir logs are going to be installed along the, along that back perimeter. But otherwise, the pavement that is existing within the wetland buffer is to remain, and all of the disturbance is outside of the wetland buffer. There's some drainage, drainage structures and piping and pavement and grading within the 200-foot drainage ditch buffer, but everything, all of the disturbance is outside the wetland buffer. I think that's a lot of information to start with. Why don't I pause and let me know if anybody has questions right now.
Okay, there's a couple things I wanted to just bring out, a couple of questions. So we have a letter from Department of Public Services, but in addition to, there were some comments relative to snow storage. Snow storage is proposed on Concom's within the jurisdiction of the Conservation Commission. Straw bales without silt fence and fiber rolls. Some of the details were we wanted to bring up to a better standard, such as on EC3, there's different types of erosion controls. So straw bales without a silt fence and fiber rolls, would the commission have a preference? You see a silt fence, perhaps, added to the details. And there are 2 dewatering details shown on the revised plans. Revised plans show the dewatering area outside the commission's jurisdiction. Is that so? Do you know if the dewatering system is outside the jurisdiction?
So sorry, was that directed to me? Okay, I think it was. I thought I was over.
Yes, it is, Susan.
Okay. So yes, so we are proposing to, as we are constructing the building, there's a lower parking lot that we will be removing and grading that area. And so we would be putting the stockpiles and the dewatering areas over on that side of the site.
Okay, now, normally we like to see the BMPs in place for the site when possible prior to doing the building work. But the site is rather tight because you have to construct a driveway, you got to fill to create the driveway. I think you're filling probably in a couple spots of maybe like 7 or 8 feet. And then there's the detention area, there's the swale and so forth. How do you propose doing that? What's getting the site ready before you start the building? We'd like to see these BMPs in place as soon as possible. Not just the outer perimeter stuff, but
So it is going to be to start the site there, obviously the perimeter staked fiber rolls are going to be on the perimeter of the site that can remain throughout construction. As things begin, the existing system will have the protective catch basin inserts. And then as those are coming offline, there's going to have to be a switch in order to put in the proposed. To your point, there is it is a tight site, but once, as things come offline and other pipe goes on, the inserts will be switched to the other catch basins, and the final structure that we are that the site does drain to will have the inserts and have the fiber rolls around in order to protect.
Okay. We have a letter from Public Services dated May 20th. And there's a few things that were important. Some of them are building related, such as backflow preventers for fire and domestic, for the domestic and fire protection, and some water work. So that's, I'm assuming you've talked to Public Services about that. Is this been?
Correct. Yes, we'll have the backflow preventers. They'll be within the building in the sprinkler room, and where or not sprinkler room, where the surfaces come into the building, there will be the backflow preventers, and that's part of the will be part and verified as far as the building permit review.
Are we showing where the where water is where the surfaces are coming in?
Yes. So if you go to actually just one sheet above that, they're coming off of Andover Street right there. We're using the existing connections. So the water service, they come in about the midpoint of the site, the two services.
So I guess, is this on the plans that we're looking at now, or are these something that needs to be added?
No, that's on. So if you, oh, you're just verifying it's there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we actually show the cut and cap.
Okay, yeah, I can see it now, yes.
And so
Yeah, here it is. So on the DPS letter, there's items number 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, primarily relative to sewer and water. Items 9, 10, 11, and 12 are items that would be of more concern with us. And so item number 9 is the applicant's land development plans, which were revised in April. And the stormwater report was revised at the end of April do not appear in agreement. The applicant's engineer shall continue to work with the department in respect to the design of their stormwater system.
correct, and we coordinated on that.
Okay, and
There,
item
yeah.
number 10, did you do soil testing?
No, we're going to do that prior to we would do that prior to building permit.
Okay, yeah. And item number 11, 12-inch RCP pipe. Shall have a trash rack. I think I saw that in the plans.
Yes, so that is on.
So that's on the plans, and I did see that earlier. And the applicant shall have the remaining drainage pipe that is to remain inspected. Did you already TV that yet?
No, we're getting our permits and then prior to building permit.
Okay,
Getting site permits and then prior to building permits. In order to release the building permit, these conditions have to be met.
okay. So there's still some stuff has to happen anyways before you can even start any of the stormwater system construction.
Correct, yes, we
Yeah.
once we have the site permits, we then have to get the building permit, yes.
And on the O&M plan, have you listed who the responsible parties are, their names and contacts?
So the specific people are not known right now. However, that will be something that we have to add in, and I believe that is for CO for the building. They'll need that.
Okay, and then your dewatering plans, if necessary, whatever that might be, need to be approved by Lucia.
Okay.
I think those were the comments that that were provided to us by Public Services. I was looking at the swale area and stuff, and that is those side slopes. Is there going to be guardrail along that driveway on the left side going down the hill? I didn't see it.
There's a curb, and then there's a there's a 3-foot bench, and then it starts it's rounded and goes down at the 4-to-1 or at the steeper end. So it's not a like drastic drop off. It's a pretty gradual slope there.
It's about a 3-to-1, isn't it?
It's a 4-to-1.
Steeper than 3-to-1.
No,
Oh,
4-to-1. Yeah,
okay.
it's a little bit flatter for mowing and maintenance. Wanting to make it
Okay.
able to be walked on.
Okay. Is anybody in the commission would like to raise any questions, or Lucia? If you hear from the rest of the commission?
I definitely have things to say, but I would like to hear from the commission first.
Mr. Chairman, I have no comments on this at this time.
Okay. Bruce?
My only comment is, if I remember correctly, at the last meeting, which was a while ago, someone was talking about the fact that after it comes out of the Caltech system, it was going to go into an old piping to the existing piping, and I thought they were talking about rebuilding that piece. And it shows on this, it shows outside it doesn't show outside the limit of work, but
Yeah. I think maybe that's why they're gonna TV that. Maybe they're gonna see what the condition of that might be, whether it could be retained or whether it needs to be replaced. Is that the reason for the TV in that pipe?
Correct. That was the intent of comments from DPW and planning.
all right. I just remember that was a comment that you guys made, that you were gonna, you didn't know how those pipes were. And you were going to, I thought you were gonna replace them, but it doesn't show it on the plan, that's all.
Wasn't that an as needed? Once we tested and we're out there, we may have to. I think that's where that was left at the planning board, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. We have to provide the visual inspection files to the planning, and justifying either why we're able to maintain that, why we're able to have them to remain, or okay, here's the we need to replace these, but as of right now, where they're not proposed to be replaced.
So let me ask the question. When we get the results of the TVing of that pipe, assuming that it's adequate and good condition, I'm assuming that the size of that pipe is sufficient to handle the new stormwater runoff and drainage system associated with the site.
Correct. Yes, that was taken into account as far as the design goes.
Well, I mean, I have no further comment, Michael. It's they're reducing they've reduced the impervious surface of the site a lot.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with the plan at all. I'd like to hear from Lucia.
Sure, everyone's ready to hear from me. So I sent a memo out earlier today. I just want to make sure everyone on the commission is okay. Right now, the plan on page PP1, it shows snow storage in our buffer. Are you guys okay with that?
Which plan is that? PT1, you said?
Yep, I can share it. Let me just try. Let me find it.
SP1.
Oh, SP1?
Yes.
PD or PT?
SP1?
Hold on. I thought I wrote PP. I'm all over the place today. I thought it was this.
They're right next to each other.
Here, it's PP1.
Oh, it's just, all right. So same thing. Yeah,
So it's in the 200 foot and the buffer, the 100 foot.
and so as it melts, it would go across the page into the stormwater system.
It looks like that's all your parking though. So what are you guys gonna do during the winter?
So we don't need very much parking. this is, you know, if there is a, you know, typically there's only one or, you know, a few customers that are accessing their storage facilities at a time. However, you know, if there are, let's say, 3 trucks and we need another area to turn around in the back, that's what we're maintaining for that. And so it would just have to be, you know, if there are a, you know, let's say it's the winter from, you know, it seems like yesterday, but I guess it has been a few years now where it, you know, there's storm after storm after storm, and we are using that whole area. It would just have, we would just have to make sure that as the clients are coming into the back area, that they are parking more efficiently than, you know, just kind of as, you know, wherever they need, because it's not striped back there. It's just, you know, trucks are allowed, or, you know, your passenger vehicle. And when I say trucks, it's like the smaller U-Haul. So your vehicles would just pull in or, you know, park against the building as needed. However, you know, if this area isn't able to be used for that additional turnaround area, the one of the employees may just need to help make sure that people are parking efficiently back there so that everybody can get out. Typically, it's not an issue because there's only, you know, one, you know, less than half a dozen people tend to access their storage areas at a time. It's a very low volume site.
I have no problem with it.
I concur.
Okay, I just wanted to point it out to you guys. Now, I already chatted with Susan offline about the erosion controls. Do you guys, I like, you know, the straw, whatever I think they're called wattles, the killer socks.
Yeah.
Do you think a 12-inch without a silt fence is going to be enough for a project of this size?
Yeah.
I'm doing work over here, but
I don't want to see on this site. I don't want to see straw wattles. I'd like to see the logs with the back mulch in them. It's a much more they're staked in place, and it'll pretty much prevent as much as the silt fence will.
So do you think a 12-inch fiber roll though is big enough without like a silt fence behind it? Sometimes for big projects, they will use both.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see both, primarily because, you know, it's not like there's a lot of rooms where they really need every bit of room to, they're gonna need that during the stage construction and placing the roadway and setting up the BMPs and those swales. And so there's gonna be a lot of excavation, a lot of activity going on that way. And I think if we had the logs with the silt fence, it's just a little better security on maintaining.
I agree. Yeah, that's fine. But again, I don't want to see the fiber roll. I'd like to see a silt sock.
Silt sock.
Like a compost log they're filled with compost and it has like a biodegradable covering on it.
Correct.
Yes, that is what I would. So Suzanne, would you guys be willing to revise the detail sheet?
So right now we are showing the compost filter socks, not the straw wattles, but if, you know, yes, if that's a condition, we can add the silt fence behind the filter socks.
Do you know what page? I think it might be on a different, I just want to pull that up. So I think I have to.
E3.
Hold on.
Keep going about 3 more.
This one, part 2?
Nope, it was, it could be, yes. I had to email it to you.
Sorry, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm not great with this.
We're all learning.
That's that one. Nope. I think I was just on this one.
I think it's EC3.
Well, I don't know. Now it's being weird. It's like making me re-download it.
So when I emailed it to Lucia, I had to separate it. So I believe it is in your part 2.
Okay, so
These plans, The,
It's on the detail page.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to one more, give me a second. I'm obviously not super savvy with this.
one more.
Okay, so we think it's part 2, or was that the one I just was in?
You want to open up part 2, correct?
Okay. All right, here we go.
One sheet, yes, there we go. So there's your filter sock, and so we can add the silt fence behind it.
Okay, so is that's also what I want. One of my conditions was going to be that no plastic meshing would be allowed, because otherwise they always end up just on site. Is that a condition that the commission would support? I mean, it says right on there, a biodegradable filter socks, but I also like to put it in a condition, so in case, you know, you're looking at it fast, I can remember that that's what you guys asked for.
Right, but again, hers says fiber roll. And I want a silt sock. It's different. No, not a big deal. I don't think anybody's gonna have a problem with it.
What's the difference though? Because I mean, there's like a lot of people will even call this a straw wattle. The logs that are filled with straw. Some people will call that a wattle. And
That is
big
that
ones,
is a
straw bales.
Right.
So
You want like the Filtrex filter, so it's not
It's a silt sock. It has like just what Lucia said. It's a silt sock. It has compost in it. It's just a little detail. It's not a big deal.
we can change that. But you want the double, the silt
Yeah, you
sock.
want a silt fence with the silt sock. That should take care. I don't think you'll have anything will get past that. I mean, you're gonna be doing a lot of excavating over there. We just need
concur with
on the
Bruce.
side. I don't think it's a big deal.
That's not a big deal.
And Bruce, just to reiterate, you call it a compost log, right? Not a
A silt sock with a, yeah, I mean, if you want, I'll bring it up but it's not a straw wattle. Straw wattles are basically exactly what they are, straw wound up. It's, you know, into a log. A silt sock is different.
Okay.
It's a tube filled with compost. They blow it in. You can buy them pre-made, or sometimes at big sites, they blow it in on site.
I think that sounds great. So a compost log with a staked in silt fence behind it, correct?
Correct.
And then one thing I was also, because this is such a large project, I think we do need to have wording 10 to 15 feet apart, temporary signs that say no work beyond this point, and they should remain in good condition until the work is finished and the erosion controls are removed.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I also
idea.
agree with that, the condition of no plastic meshing.
Susan and Jack, do you?
So there's two things happening right there. So with the silt sock, I think we're good on that. The other with the signs every 10 feet, just there's a portion of the buffer goes through pavement. So are you okay? I mean, do you want just like the temporary, just a temporary sign along there?
Yeah, if like somehow it can get staked, like on, like, you know, clip it to the actual stakes. I mean, I don't know if you're gonna have stakes actually on the concrete. That's not really making any sense.
Oh, I'm sorry. You mean along the sediment, the barrier?
Yes, just so like, you know, people know not to go beyond that. I mean, I don't care if they have lunch over there. Some other people might care, but just so you know that don't move that log.
Yep, that's fine.
So I'm a little all over the place, so we're okay with the detail sheet then, if everyone. Now, there are 2 dewatering details shown on the plan. Right now it's shown outside the Concom's jurisdiction, but most likely that water is going to end up in the Concom's jurisdiction. So me and Will chatted about this earlier, and one of his memo items was number 19, that the commission, that we should be aware of which type before the dewatering happens. I know you said that you're not planning on dewatering, but we still ask for the dewatering detail. So I also think that the dewatering method should be a condition. Just, so that I'm kept in the loop. I know what's going on, because sometimes the dirt bags or the filter socks can burst. So you want to make sure, you have a few of them on hand. You want to make sure maybe you do have that straw wattle basin, so you have both of them just in case. I would just like to know if they're dewatering in case something does happen. And then
They have a dewatering detail in the
Yes.
plans. I think it's on sheet EC4. And in that detail, they look at, they've got hay bales. Creating the perimeter of where the filtration would take place. And that filter bag would be inside that, is that correct?
So this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
Well, I hope they're not hay bales, because we don't allow them. They need to be straw bales.
it looks like they're showing hay bales in the detail, but
Oh, it's a straw bale.
Straw.
So Susan, would the filter bags be in here, or are these just 2 types that you are considering?
So these are 2 types that could be implemented. However, if there's a preferred one, or, or if you want it inside, we can, we can, as what's necessary is, we can talk about.
well, certainly the season where this work would take place would be something that would indicate whether or not they're even necessary.
It's been very dry. We're in desperate need of rain.
I mean, it's pretty dry now, so I don't know if they would be necessary, but if this work was happening in the spring, late fall, early winter, there's a possibility, the need for them.
So we don't need to decide tonight. If it's okay, we can just put it as a condition that the dewatering method needs to get approved by, conservation staff before.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're gonna need it, but who knows?
Okay,
We already talked about that one. So just to go back, the 3 conditions, if obviously you have to open it to members of the public before you close it. But my conditions would be, as we already said, we need a revised erosion control detail sheet showing a silt fence behind the compost log with the signing saying no work beyond this point. They can just be temporary, 10 to 15 feet apart, maybe even 20 feet. The O&M is in perpetuity. No plastic meshing shall be allowed on the fiber rolls. And our traditional one, erosion controls must be inspected by conservation staff before any work can commence. And then the dewatering method should be approved by the city staff beforehand. And I did speak with Will Politz today, and Mike, earlier you mentioned a bunch of his numbered items.
mm-hmm.
He was saying 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, and 19. Those are still outstanding. So he is hoping that the commission, he's fine with you guys making a vote, but he respectfully asks that you make a motion contingent upon releasing the final document contingent on his approval. I'm sure all of these things don't necessarily need to be met, but I think he would like them in the works before we go ahead and give our signed paper over.
Okay,
So that is up to you guys if you want to vote that way. Those are my conditions. I think that's 4 conditions. And then that contingency on DPS if you are so willing.
okay. Any other comments from the commission?
I'm good.
I'm all set.
Okay, at this time, I'll let Lucia, I'll ask Lucia to invite anybody from the public who wishes to raise their hand and ask questions.
I don't think it doesn't look like anyone is raising their hand. So if you guys want to make a motion to close,
Okay, if I see there's no questions from the public, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Yes.
All in favor? We do a roll call?
yep. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes,
Secretary Lazares,
he's not here.
Commissioner Wojcik,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi.
Yeah.
I said yes. I knew,
Oh, there's Stu.
that's me. I just didn't put my picture up. But
Okay, good. Stu is there. I was worried about you, Stu. Hi, Stu.
I came in late because I was struggling with I'm still having trouble with the computer. But I'm here. I listened to all that. It's fine.
Okay, so it looks like it passes unanimously. And Suzanne and Jack, are you okay with the contingent motion
Yes.
that hasn't been made yet?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Okay. So at this time, I entertain to issue an order of conditions.
or a
Motion to
negative
issue an order of
determination.
conditions?
It would
Huh?
a negative determination.
Negative determination.
I will make a motion to issue a negative determination contingent
subject-
upon,
Subject to the items that Lucia had talked to, having a revised erosion control plan.
yes.
Signing along the back side there, every 10 or 15 feet, no disturbance beyond this point. That the O&M plan be prepared in perpetuity. That there be no plastic mesh on the silt socks. The BMPs will be inspected by Lucia when they're in place. And that the dewatering method will be chosen or be presented and approved by Lucia. And if that's okay, that we will condition this on releasing the information subject to Will Pollitt's concurrence with the items that Lucia had mentioned that needed to get part of this project.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yay.
yes,
Okay, I'm gonna just do a quick roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
yes,
Secretary Lazares,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi.
Yes.
All right, it passes.
very good.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will be in touch, Jack and Susan.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a nice
Bye.
evening.
Bye, Jack. Take care.
Right, Jack?
Bye. How do we get out?
You can't.
You want me to kick you out?
No, I see leave. Leave meeting.
Bear with me a minute. Okay. Okay, item number 2 on the agenda. Is everybody ready?
yes,
Okay. Item number 2 on the agenda is an amendment request. It's a continued public hearing on an amendment request for an existing order of conditions under DEP file number 55-857 submitted by Joseph Salvaggio. Proposed work is the construction of a single-family house with a driveway, utilities, and lawn. New property owner wishes to increase the footprint of the building, the structure. Property is known as 73 Lake Street, map 45, lot 62, in the city of Peabody.
I have unmuted the applicant.
Hello,
Okay,
everybody hear me okay?
yeah,
Okay. My name is Joseph Salvaggio, 73 Lake Street in Peabody. We were in front of the board now for a few months. We got an order of conditions for this property back in 2019 and made some changes to the size of the house. Back in February, we were there for a meeting, and at the commission's request, they wanted some new test holes redug again to check out the water table in the springtime. So we went ahead and did that in March. We've submitted the report. There were no changes found from the earlier digging we had done in fall of 2019. And at this point, I'm hoping we can get this wrapped up and get to work on the property.
okay, I think what I recall at the last time we did meet, our concern was that we made the effort to determine perhaps in a better way or during different seasons and different conditions where the water table might be, being that you have on-site stormwater treatment systems to handle any runoff from the building. And so we're looking to see where the groundwater was and how much separation we could get with those test pits and compare them to the stormwater design.
Correct.
Looking at the report, I was pleased with the report. I was hoping that we'd have 2 feet of separation between the bottom of the treatment beds and the groundwater. And I believe on every test pit that was dug, we had 2 feet. I think it was one was just slightly off, but I was glad to see that. And that was probably the most important thing that I thought we needed to see. And so I'm very comfortable now with the project as it stands. Anybody else? Lucia, do you want to weigh in on this, or any of the commissioners?
I can, if you guys want me to share the plan or the videos or anything with you guys, I can do that. At this point, I mean, my concern is the abutters. We already know that, you know, some of them have had issues with tiles popping up in their basements. So I'm just concerned that a house this size could cause issues to abutters, but that I do not have a vote. That is up to the commission. You guys have all of the plans, all of the paperwork in front of you, the soil testing. So it is really on you guys. I do want the residents to know that if they do not feel that this was done justly, they do have the ability to appeal this to Mass DEP. But if you guys want me to pull up the plans, I can do that. I can pull up anything that you want to tell me.
Yeah. Any of the commissioners want to talk about this at all?
I'm satisfied that Mr. Salvaggio has done everything that we asked him to do. And given that we never know what Mother Nature is going to do, he's replaced, as far as I can tell, all the impervious area that his house will take up, or all the pervious area that his house will take up, with a way to manage the runoff
Yeah.
to our satisfaction. And if it doesn't change the water table, which it doesn't appear it will, then it should not affect the neighbors.
Yeah.
My only concern was originally that it would increase the water level of Devil's Dishful, but in effect, Devil's Dishful is managed anyway by boards and dams.
Yeah.
So it should have no effect on that. So I'm satisfied with the project the way it is. I have one question to Mr. Salvaggio. What's the current one structure that's wrapped in Tyvek on the property?
What's the loss?
Was the
Oh,
question-
those have been removed. Those were removed today. Those
Okay.
structures were for a different project. I was just storing them there at that point.
Okay, all right. I was sure you were, but it kind of looked like a prefab house.
Yes, it was. It was part of a prefab house, correct?
Okay. No, I thought you were bringing the house on site to put
No,
together
no.
once we approved it. All right,
No.
thanks.
Thank you.
Bruce?
Well, everybody know how I feel from the last time. And it's based on what I read and on what I saw, the test pits in March came back better than the holes that they did the last time. That there was more separation between and at the bottom of the test pits between the different soils.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it came back. I don't think, again, I said this at the last meeting, I don't think that what Mr. Salvaggio is going to do, build based on everything that he's putting into the property as far as underground chambers and stuff, is going to affect anything from a groundwater, as far as groundwater affecting the residents. I mean, the abutters. That's where I was at the last time, and the results came back even better than the last time.
Okay. Anybody else?
Chairman Rizzo, I've actually got a few questions for the applicant. My first question is, so I actually missed one of the meetings. I think it was the February meeting that I wasn't able to attend where we discussed this. But the purpose for this amendment is to increase the size of the garage. Is that correct?
No, I think the footprint of the house might have changed also.
Yeah, both have changed, correct.
Okay. And how many more cars do you plan on storing on this property?
What do you mean, additional cars?
Right.
Well, it's going to have basically a 4-car garage.
Okay. And then, I mean, are you going to be doing any work on the cars
No.
at the house?
No, absolutely not. It's not allowed. I have a business already where I do work on cars, so nothing will be done at this house.
Great. Okay. Yeah, then in that case, I have no further questions.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. Seeing that there's no other questions from the commission, I would ask Lucia to open up the meeting to anybody who's here to speak. Keep in mind, this is an unusual format and forum. And we've had several meetings already, so I know a lot of the butters have spoken about this project in different ways in the past, and maybe try not to repeat same things over again. If somebody brings something up, not to repeat it
We
again.
lost sound and everything.
So, so Lucia, you can open it up to any questions from any of the butters.
I think, Patty, did you just say you lost sound?
That's really what I wanted to hear.
The guy clearly asked.
And that's
Patty,
what I
we
wanted
can
to
hear
He
you.
repeated the question.
Right. And that's
What does
what,
that mean? I don't care.
I'm gonna mute that for now. Patty, we can hear you. I just muted you. I'm gonna unmute you again. Sorry, it takes a while to unmute. Okay. Patty, can you hear us?
No sound.
If
Video.
so, Chairman Rizzo, we have an abutter that cannot participate, so I don't know what to do.
I don't either.
Patty, can you try logging off and logging back
total
in?
waste of time.
I got Pete. Oh my God.
Straight down there to the end, very end. To the left. Yes,
All one past the jukebox?
yes. Put a quarter in the jukebox.
I gotta get up slow.
I think she might be trying to log in. So if
Okay.
there's also there she is. Patty, can you hear us now?
Yes, we lost total, after he asked how many cars would be stored, we lost total video and audio.
We can hear you now.
Patty,
Okay.
I can answer. I can tell you what happened real quick. Mr. Salvaggio, he said that there were only going to be about 4 cars. He said 4 cars, and he said I asked if there was going to be any work done, and he told me that there would be no work done on the property.
Okay, thank you.
Did you have any further input? That's it?
That was it for now. We're concerned about water tables, so that's what we were listening for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Patty, did you hear the water table comments?
Oh, hold on. I muted her again. Hold on.
Oh,
Oh, she's unmuted.
Yes,
Patty.
thank you. I did hear it. It seems like it's okay, but what happens if it's not?
we'll all know.
Right, right. Yeah,
But
we'll know.
they've done everything they can and engineered it properly. It should have no effect.
Okay. Thank you.
So that question, would whoever stamps the plan would, if, in the odd event, it sounds like everyone's confident that this is going to work, but in the odd event that these abutters who already are experiencing significant flooding, during certain times of the year, who would be held liable? Would it be the engineer who stamped the plan? Because we do have severe flooding in this city, and if you've ever had a house that floods, it is not a fun thing at all.
Well, I don't know the answer to that question. I know that when you say severe flooding, that's an incorrect statement because, these people were asked and the Uralski family expressed they had flooding 2 times in 30 years. That was on the record. So when you say severe flooding, I don't think that's correct at all. But I don't know who would be liable. I mean, we've done everything in our power to make sure that we've taken an extraordinary amount of caution here to make sure that everybody's going to be as safe as possible. And I think that's the case here.
My experience with water in this area, I believe the flooding probably occurred due to lack of maintenance of storm drain systems. Could be clogged storm drain, the openings. It could be a pipe that needed fixing. But if you haven't had more than 2 floods in 30 years, it sounds like the city has done a good job of maintaining the current infrastructure. And we know that they're improving the infrastructure because it's very hard to get down Lowell Street. In this particular case, I know personally that the water level in Devil's Dishful can be reduced quickly by pulling boards out of the dam. So you shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah, and the storm system was designed by an engineer with the 2-foot separation is able to handle.
Right.
He's handling all his storm runoff himself on his property.
I'm very confident this will work. I'm very happy with what Mr. Salvaggio did to improve the situation.
Lucia?
So,
Sorry, I'm having issues. I was looking for the old order of condition because it sounds like you guys are getting ready to vote. But again, I do just want to let the residents know if they do not feel that this, was done correctly, they do have the ability to appeal directly to Mass DEP. And also because we have a local ordinance, it would also go under our local ordinance in court. So if you guys were going to get ready to close the public hearing, I don't see anyone else raising their hand. If you want to speak again, just raise your hand. We do have the original order of conditions. So I would ask that all of those original conditions remain because one of the big ones was the pipe and the culvert that historically a lot of residents in the neighbor believe exist. The phantom culvert, that's on here. The test pit conditions on here, but they've already done that, I believe. It's supposed to be done in any area to be excavated, proposed trench areas for utilities, sonotubes, etc. Did you already do that and you never came upon a pipe?
Well, we've done the same test pits twice, and we've actually done probably another 6 or so in different areas as well. So I guess
Where
you
the
could say-
utilities, where you're going to be putting utilities and sonotubes?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And so, yeah, the other conditions are like, one is in the event the plan must be changed due to finding a culvert or any other reason, the applicant property owner needs to file another amendment request for any changes.
Right.
That's really it. If I don't see any more hands up, so it's really, as I said twice already or 3 times, neighbors do have the ability to appeal to DEP. That is not something I can help them with, but I can give them a piece of paper and they should be, it's pretty simple. They should be able to figure it out on their own.
Okay, thank you, Lucia. Seeing there's no other questions at this time, I'll take a motion to whether you want to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call on that, Lucia.
Yep, did I hear correctly? Was it Commissioner Vivaldi that made the motion?
No, I did.
Lucia
Okay.
did, and then Michael
Mike,
second.
Not Travis?
not Travis.
That's correct.
Okay, so Vivaldi seconded. And I'm gonna do a roll call. So Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
yes,
Secretary Lazares,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
Okay, it does pass, well, it closes unanimously.
Do I have a motion to issue an order of conditions?
So moved.
second,
Mr. Chairman, on the motion,
Yes,
This is just for the amendment to the order of conditions that we already have out for this project, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right, so no one's voting present or no. I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazares,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojak.
Lucia, I'm voting no. We already have a order of conditions out there, that's why.
All right, Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
all right, so 1, 2, it passes 4-1 with Commissioner Wojak voting no.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Any, you're all set, Lucia, with what we just talked about, so.
What?
As far as the order of conditions, we just kind of summarized it, so we're good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the amendment, the original conditions should be staying.
Right.
But he does need to be aware, once this amendment, from what I hear from DEP, once you draft an amendment, he does have that original plan to fall back on if this does get appealed, but the water does get a little muddy. I'm going to be adding all the original conditions again. So, and with the change of the plan. But I mean, we'll see if it gets appealed and then go from there. There is a very, there's a different way about appeals right now though, and I will have to explain that to him after I get it signed and ready to go, because DEP does not legally do, they have 45 days after the state of emergency is lifted for them to say if they're going to appeal it or not. So there is a process that is going to take a little bit longer. After I draft it, you have to wait to hear back from DEP. It's not just a 10-day appeal period because that doesn't exist right now. So I will explain all that in the email. Once this is drafted, I will go over that with him. But that won't be until I get your guys' signatures.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right. Well, so we just had 2 items tonight. We have approval, let's say minutes, May 27th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second,
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
yes.
You have to do a
Yes.
roll call on that, Lucia, or just,
Raise your hand. Well, actually, I can't see you. I'll do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
yes?
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Secretary Lazares,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojak.
Yes.
All right, thank you. And we did forget at the beginning of the meeting, we did not give Commissioner Vivaldi voting rights in the absence of 2 full members, or at least 1 full member. So he had voting rights, I hope. He was needed for that last one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. If you guys are all set with me.
I guess so.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
What's coming up next? What's going on?
Well, we do need a meeting. You do need to make a motion to adjourn, but then the last me and you spoke, Chairman Rizzo, you stated that the last Wednesday, July 29th, was going to be our next remotely held Zoom meeting for some new applications. I don't want to put too many new items on it because, I mean, this takes a really long time
Yeah.
on here.
It does.
So I will send you guys out an email within the next few days, just confirming 7/29 as our next meeting. Does anyone have a problem with that right now?
Nothing.
You?
Hold on a second.
My birthday.
29th.
Are you bringing cake?
Happy.
I think so, yes. Virtual cake.
Oh, virtual.
Right now, it's not a problem for me, but there is a possibility. Let's see. June, July. Well, right now, I'm on vacation the week of the 20th.
You can
And
bring-
the
you
second,
can
yeah,
bring
the
your
next
Zoom
week,
with you.
the second, we just learned that I think we might be taking 2 weeks in a row.
Okay.
You can bring your Zoom with you.
Yeah,
Well, Lucia, I was actually going to ask if, because we don't usually have an August meeting, could we push it back to like the first week of August?
If you guys want to, that's, you know, I told some people that we were anticipating 7/29, but that's, nothing is etched in stone, nothing, I haven't even created a webinar yet.
well, that would work better for me.
So let me just grab a calendar.
Wonder what the, is there a lot of backlog? Is there a lot of projects?
Right now I have 3 files. There's 2 RDAs and 1 ANRAD. One RDA is the dog park at Crown and Shield, which most of you have already seen. I wanted them to file because they had the drain going right into the culvert. I have a problem with that, obviously. And the other one is a cleanup at 143 Linfield, AKA 2 Corwin. And the other one is just a wetland filing, a wetland flagging. So that one's pretty easy. It's not a problem.
Right.
And then I think I might have a certificate request or like a request to discuss something. But I've already told most people the next meeting's already to the brim, and that I really want to limit it to 3, 3 to maybe 4 items, because otherwise that first one, that 151 Andover tonight, that took almost an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we already had a public hearing for that.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm okay with, because of the status we're in, I'm okay with doing August, the first week of August,
I am too.
if everybody else is.
Yeah, it's fine.
So that would be August 5th.
Doesn't matter to me. I bring my computer and my phone wherever I go.
Doesn't matter to me either. Same thing.
All right.
I like the 5th.
And it's if you're going to be on vacation and it's your birthday, you guys need to relax and have a good time. So if you guys are ready to adjourn, we can entertain a motion to adjourn, and then you guys can go back to getting all the crazy emails from me.
Okay, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Good night,
Yeah.
everyone.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you, PAT.
Thank you.